Do you fear what your soul will see the moment it leaves this world? That final leap into the dark, a chasm of uncertainty that on even the most devout among us. This is a universal, sealed dread. We believe it is a void, a unknown end, a door that opens to nothingness. But what if this belief, this source of our deep anguish, is fundamentally wrong, and what if it is instead a path of light? I am here to share the comforting révélation of a modern mystique, Saint Carlo Acutis. He saw the Eucharist not as a symbol, but as the true highway to heaven, a direct path to our final, eternal home. He discovered a profound secret, a truth that dispelled the fear of death. The soul does not encounter a void or a cold jugement. It finds something that it has built itself, pièce beloving pièce. It is not a leap into the dark. It is our arrival at a divine map, a luminous landscape your own soul has drawn on earth, with every single act of love and every care gesture of true kindness. Think of it, your life is not a rehearsal for the unknown. It is the active creation of your personal heaven. Every choice, every paye, every moment of compassion is a brushstroke in this masterpiece. What few people know is the secret behind the ink, the source of the light in this celestial map. Carlo Acutis understood this with a clarity that freed him from all fear, a simple and beautiful truth. Every paye you whisper and each holy communion you receive are not just rituals, they are the pixel of light that form this sacred path back to the very arm of God. This is your highway of light. Stay with me, because today I will reveal the exact daily practice Carlo Acutis used to calibrate his spiritual vision, ensuring his encounter with eternity would be a pure and radiant homecoming. It was not about avoiding fear, but about transforming the journée itself, so that the final moment is not a departure, but a return to our home already known, radiant and built by you, in pure love. Before I reveal this sacred practice, I must ask you something. Are you truly ready to let go of this fear? Are you willing to actively build your path of light, starting at this very moment? This révélation is not a passive story. It is our invitation to participate in your own salvation, to become the architect of your eternal home. It demands a conscious choice from your soul. So I invite you to a simple, powerful act of faith, a small gesture that opens your soul to this truth, a sign to heaven that you are ready to receive the peace that Carlo Acutis knew. Go to the comment section below this video and write these simple words. I choose the light. Let this be your paye, your commitment to dispelling the darkness of uncertainty forever. This is not for me or for our algorithm. This is for you. Your first conscious act of laying a stone on your highway to heaven. Your first pixel of light placed with intention and hope. By writing these words, you are not alone. You join a communion of soul who are also choosing to replace their fear with faith. We are building our luminous paths together in unity. And while you are there, I ask you to share one more thing. What is the specific doubt that troubles your heart the most? Let us bring these fears into the light where they can be seen. I read every single comment. Your vulnerability is a sacred offering, a paye in itself. Know that your struggle is seen, heard, and held in a space of compassion and shared spiritual hope. Your act of courage has now prepared your soul. You have signaled your readiness to receive this profound révélation. You are now prepared to understand the secret of Saint Carlo Acutis. With your heart now open, let us turn to the story that illuminated his path, a simple parable that contains the very key to his spiritual vision and the source of his unshakable peace. Carlo Acutis looked to a master of this sacred art, a saint who lived centuries before him, yet whose vision was timeless, the humble and radiant Saint Francis of Assisi. To understand Carlo's highway, you must see Francis's path. He didn't just love creation, he saw it as a living map, a divine code written by God in sunlight and stone. Francis knew no fear of death because he lived in constant dialogue with life. For him, the end was not a cliff, bit simply walking from one room of his father's ooze to another. The parable that guided Carlo is not one of words, but of action. It is the story of how Francis learned to see the light of Christ in the most rejected and feared place. Think of the Lepée, a figure of decay and isolation. Where others saw a curse and fled in disgust, Francis saw a den doorway to the very heart of God's eternal kingdom. In embracing the man society had cast out, Francis performed a sacred alchemy. He transformed human repulsion into a brilliant pixel of light for his own soul's divine map. This is the first que Carlo understood. Every act of compassion, especially when it is difficult, is not just for the other. It is a lamp you light for your own way on. Then there was the wolf of Gibeah, a creature of pure fear and violence. It was the embodiment of the town's dread, a symbol of the chaos that threatens to consume all of us. Francis did not meet this darkness with a sword or a tap. He met it with understanding, with dialogue. He saw the wolf's danger, not just its rage. He saw its pain. By taming the wolf, he wasn't just saving a town. He was teaching that our greatest fears, when met with love, can be transformed into guardian of our own inner peace. Carlo saw this in the digital world, the wolves of loneliness, of addiction, of despair. He knew that meeting them with Christ's love was creating a safe path for others. And in creating that path for others, he was paving his own with indestructible light. This is the second que, your service to others build the walls of your eternal âme. Francis called the sun his brother and the moon his sister. This was not poetry. It was a statement of profound theological truth that Carlo Acutis deeply understood. He saw that he was not separate from God's creation, but un integral part of it. This connexion eliminated the fear of being lost, of being un orphan in the vast cosmos. You are not a visitor here. You are family. Every star, every rive, every creature is your care in a great cosmic household, all pointing back to the same Father of lights. This was the source of Francis's perfect joy, not the absence of suffering, but the overwhelming certainty of belonging to God, no matter what earthly trial might come. Carlo translated this into his own life. The Eucharist was his brother's son, the most direct connexion to the Creator of all things, the ultimate source of all belonging. By rooting himself in the Eucharist daily, he was reminding his soul of its true family, its true âme. He was practicing the feeling of heaven long before he ever arrived. This is the authority of Francis, the wisdom that Carlo embraced. Life is a project of recognition, seeing God's light in the rejected, the feared, and in all of creation. And be recognizing that light, you are not merely observing it. You are weaving it into the very fabric of your soul, creating the luminous tapestry you will inhabit forever. So here is the secret Carlo lived by. It is not a formula, but a way of seeing, a daily act of spiritual calibration that transformed his vision of life and eternity, making them one. He understood that the fear of death came from a feeling of separation, a fear of leaving home. His entire practice was designed to eliminate that feeling of separation from God entirely. The revelation is this. After receiving the Holy Eucharist each day, Carlo performed a second, sealed act. He would intentionally offer his entire day as a single pixel of light for his map. Think of this, not just his prayers or good deeds, his study, his computer work, his friendships, his very breath. All of it was consciously bundled and offered as a gift for his soul. This is the practice of Eucharistic living. It is the act of taking the divine presence received in communion and infusing it into every mundane moment that follows. Nothing is wasted. He would leave the church not just with Christ in his soul, but with a mission for the day, to see Christ in everything and everyone, and thus paint the world with that divine light. His first step was receiving the source card of heaven, the Eucharist. This was the divine energy, the light with which he would draw. Without it, the pen would have no true ink. The second step was the application. He would mentally say, Lord, this day is for you. May every moment of it be a brushstroke or me path back to your heart. Is me your artiste. This simple dédication transformed his perception. A difficult conversation was no longer un obstacle, it was a chance to add a pixel of patience. A corps was a pixel of humility. He was actively calibrating his soul to harmonize the frequency of heaven in the noirs of the world. He was tuning his inner vision to see the sacred Eden in the ordinary. This is why he had no fear. How can you fear arriving at a place you have your entire life meticulously designing and building? It is not a stage land, it is your own home. Your divine map is not created by accident. It is the sum of these intentional offerings. Each time you choose love over Angers, you lay another golden paving stone on your personal path. Carlo knew that many receive communion as a conclusion to a ritual. For him, it was the initiation, the moment the engine of his soul was turned on for the day's sacred journée. The secret is to carry the sacred fear from the altar into the world. You do not leave Jesus in the church. You become the tabernacle that walks through the streets, schools, and homes. This practice makes your life a continu paye. Your work becomes worship. Your geste becomes contemplation. Your relationship become a form of communion with the divine spark in others. He saw each person he met as a potential stop or his lumineux map, a chance to give or receive light, to add detail and color to the landscape of his soul's final destination. The poor he helped were not charity cars. They were living altar where he could place his offering, bright pixel of compassion that shone with the light he had received in the Ost. This is how you build your highway, not with grand gesture, but with 1,000 small, intentional acts of love, each one powered by the gas of your last holy communion. This is it. His joy was not a mate of tampam, it was the result of this practice. He was living in his destination. He felt the peace of heaven because he was actively co-creating it. The fear of a judging God dissolved with this practice. You are not walking into a courtroom. You are presenting a masterpiece that you and God have painted together day after day. This is the ultimate purpose of the Eucharist, to make us divine artiste, to give us the very substance of God so that we can create a reality worthy of Him, both here and hereafter. So the calibration is this: receive, then immediately and consciously dedicate. See your day not as a series of tasks, but as a blank canvas for your soul's most important work. Every time you feel frustration, see it as a chance to paint with patience. Every time you feel tired, see it as a chance to paint with perseverance. Every moment is our opportunity. Carlo used his passion for computers for this. Each website he built was a pixel of truth. Each line of code was a paye offered to connect others to the source of all light. He did not separate the sacred from the secular. For him, the computer keyboard could be as much our altar as the one in the church, because he brought the presence of Christ to it. This is the secret to a fearless death. You spend your life becoming so familiar with the presence of God that the final transition is as natural as breathing, a simple, easy passage. It is not about earning your way to heaven. It is about becoming the kind of person who would be at home there. It is a transformation of being, not a transaction of maris or demri. Your soul already knows the way. This practice simply clears the path of the debris of fear and distraction. It turns on the lights so you can see the road that has always been there. The lumineux landscape is your own spiritual DNA made visible. It is the unique pattern of love that only you could create. Carlo's practice was his way of honoring and building it. Stop seeing your life as a waiting room for eternity. Carlo teaches us that this very room is the workshop. The materials are all around you. The Eucharist is your power and your guide. The moment of death, then, is not a leap. It is the final step on a well-trodden path. Your soul will simply recognize the landscape and say, I am home, I know this place well. The light you see will not be a starge, blinding glare. It will be the collected warmth of every act of kindness you ever offered, every paye you whispered, greeting you like old friend. This is the comforting révélation. You are the architect. God is the source. The Eucharist is the connexion. And your daily life is the boutifule and sacred construction seat. Do not underestimate the power of that simple post-communion dedication. It is the steering wheel for your soul. It set the direction for every thought, word, and deed that follows. It affirms your entire existence. You are no longer just surviving the day. You are actively, consciously, and joyfully paving your own personal highway directly into the heart of God. This is why the saints seem to walk with such purpose. They are not wandering. They are on a mission, laying down track for the maglev terre of their soul, powered by Christ himself. Carlo was a modern cartographe of the soul. He used the ancien compass of the Eucharist and the modern tools of his life to draw a map so clear that he could walk it with his eyes closed. When you live this way, the veil between worlds becomes thin. You start to see the glamour of eternity in the eyes of a friend, in the beauty of nature, in a moment of sealed peace. Heaven ceases to be a distant concept and becomes a pur's reality, a dimension you can access and contribute to with every conscious choice you make throughout your ordinary day. The secret is not in becoming perfect, it is in becoming intentional, to offer your imperfection, your struggles, and your small victory to God as pixels on your sacred canvas. This practice removes the anxiety of not being good enough. Your offering is not your perfection, but your intention. The desire to turn your life into a path of light is the paye. Carlo's path was illuminated by this daily choice. The choice to see his life not as a test to be passed, but as a work of art to be created in loving partnership with the divine. This is the care that turns the lead of your daily struggles into the gold of your eternal âme. The alchemy of a dedicated heart, renewed each day at the altar of the Holy Eucharist. So the dread of the void is replaced with the anticipation of a homecoming. You are not heading to our unknown country. You are returning to the capital city of your own soul's kingdom. The people you have loved, the kindness you have shown, they are the welcoming party. They are the citizens of that kingdom, the living lights that make up its beautiful geography. This is the profound truth Carlo Acutis lived and now share with us. Your life is the pen, the Eucharist is the ink. Your love is the art that draws the map back to your Father's ooze. There is no void. There is only the beautiful world your soul has built. A world made of every time you showed forgiveness, every time you offered help, every time you prayed for another. His secret, then, is one of radical participation. Do not be a passive passenger on the journey of life. Be the active, joyful engineer of your own highway to the eternal realms. The calibration is a daily hazer of your spiritual GPS. After communion, you tell your soul, this is our destination. Every single thing we do today moves is one step closer. And in that moment, the fear vanishes. It is replaced by a profound sense of purpose, a deep and abiding peace. You know where you are going, and you are building the road as you walk. Many believe life is a test, a series of hurdles to pass for a final grade. This view creates anxiety and a constant fear of failure. But God is not a cold examiner of our final exam. The truth is, this life is not our exam hall but our artist studio. You are not being tested. You are invited to co-create your masterpiece with the divine Pante, your loving Father. You have been taught to fear God's jugement, a final moment of accounting, a divine courtroom where your every foe is exposed. This image is born of our own guilt, not of God's nature. The soul's encounter with God is not a trial, it is a homecoming. In His light, you will simply see the path you built. It is a moment of pure truth, not of accusation or of sham. We are told that holiness requires extraordinary act. We think of Saint in caves or martyr in Arna. This belief makes holiness seem distant, an impossible goal for ordinary people. Carlo Acutis correct this profoundly. Holiness is hidden in the ordinary. It is in how you do your laundry, how you speak to your family, how you approach your daily work with true love. You believe your small, hidden act of kindness are insignificant, lost in the noirs of the world. You think no one sees them. This is a lie that the darkness whispers to discourage you. In reality, these are the most powerful pixel of light on your map. They shine brightest in the eyes of God precisely because they expect no earthly reward. They are pure, holy gift. There is a common error to see payer as a separate activity from life, a box to check in the morning or evening, a brief escape from the real world and from all of its problems. The deeper truth is that your entire life can become a payer. Your work, your haste, your joy, your suffering, all of it, when offered, becomes a continue conversation with God. You might think that a Eucharist is just a spiritual comfort, a personal moment of peace for your own soul, a privat refuge. This is only the beginning of its power, not its final purpose. It is not a sedative for the soul, but a superfuel. It is the divine energy given to you not to store, but to spa in act of love and service throughout your whole entire day. We are conditioned to see our body and souls as separate, even at odd, the body as a cage for the spirit. This is a heresy that denies the great beauty of God's own incarnation. Your body is the sacred instrument with which your soul paints its map. Your arms perform the act of love. Your feet walk the path of service. It is a holy and essential vessel. You may feel that your past sins have ruined your map beyond repair, that the dark lines are too deep to be erased. This is to underestimate the infinite power of God's loving mercy. Confession is not just spiritual cleaning, it is a creative act. God does not just erase the sin, He transforms that very spot into a beacon of His grace, a testament to His power. Many live with a secret fear that they are not spiritual enough. They compare their inner life to the lives of the saints and feel hopelessly inadequate. This is a trick of the enemy. Your path is unique. Your map will look like no one else's. God desires your unique love, your specific way of serving. Do not compare. Simply begin to paint with what you have. The world tells you that your worth is in your achievements, your status, your possession. It teaches you to build our earthly kingdom, and so you fear losing it all at death. Carlo teaches that your true worth is in what you give away. Every act of charity, every moment of selfless love, is a treasure you send ahead to furnish your true and eternal home. It is a mistake to think of heaven as a place you go to asterisk after asterisk UD, a distant destination you can only imagine. This makes it feel unreal, like a fairy tale or a forgotten dream. Heaven is a dimension of reality, a frequency of love that you can begin to inhabit right now. Through prayer and the Eucharist, you tune your soul to this heavenly frequency today. You might believe that suffering is a punishment from God or a sign of His absence. This is a painful misunderstanding. It is often the very chisel He used to sculpt your soul. When united with Christ's own suffering, your pain becomes a powerful tool. It carves deep channel in your soul that can then be filled with an even greater measure of God's love. We often think of faith as a blind leap in the dark, a desperate hope against all evidence. This is a caricature. True faith is not blind, it is a deep way of seeing reality. Faith is the eye of the soul. It allows you to see the luminous map being drawn beneath the surface of everyday events. It is the vision that Carlo Acutis cultivated every single day. The common view is that death is our enemy to be fought, a final defeat. We spar fortune trying to delay it. We speak of it in whispers, but for the soul, this is not the truth. For the soul that has built its path of light, death is not our enemy, but a servant. It is the gentle arm that finally opens the door to the home you have so lovingly prepared. You may believe you are alone on this journey, that your spiritual life is a solitary struggle between you and God. This is our illusion of the ego. We are all connected in one body. Every pixel of light you add to your map also illuminate the path for others. Your holiness is a gift to the entire world. We are a communion of artistes, painting one great mural. Many think technology is inherently opposed to the spiritual, a distraction from what truly matters. Carlo, the patron saint of the Internet, completely shatters this modern illusion. He showed that any tool, even a computer, can become a paintbrush for God. It depends entirely on the intention of the artist's heart. Is your tools to create beauty and truth. You might be waiting for a feeling of peace before you start living this way. You want to feel holy before you act holy. This is backward. The action itself is what generates the peace. Do not wait for inspiration. Begin the practice. Dedicate your day after communion. The feelings of joy and peace are the result of walking the path, not the prerequisite for starting. A subtle error is to see the saints as un lamentable model of perfection. We place them on pedestals so high we cannot reach them. This absolves us of the duty to imitate their love. The saints are not model of perfection, but master of the art of getting back up. Their maps are filled with corrected lines and transformed mistakes. They show us that recovery is care. People often think that to be spiritual, one must be sombre and sérieux, that joy is somehow frivolous or unholy. This is a grêle that chokes the spirit and dim the soul's light. Carlo Acutis was known for his joy, his laughter, his love of life. This joy was not a distraction from his holiness, it was the very evidence of it. Joy is the sound of heaven. You have been told to save your soul. This langage empli your soul is something to be locked away for safekeeping, but a soul is not saved by being Eden. It is saved by being sp. You save your soul by pouring it out in love, service, and creativity. Just as Christ poured himself out for us. Your map is drawn with the ink of your own self-gift, day by day. We imagine the moment of death as a solitary leap. The soul detaches and travels alone into the unknown. But this is not the Catholic vision. You do not travel to God all by yourself. The Virgin Mary, the Angel, and all the saints are your escort. They are the welcoming committee on the other side of the veil. You are moving from one part of the family to another. There is a false humility that says, I am too insignificant for God to notice me small life. This is not humility, it is a denial of your own dignity as a shield of the Most High. To God there is nothing small. The creator of galaxy is also the architect of the atom. He is intimately interested in every pixel of light you offer, no matter how tiny it seems. You may think this practice is too simple to be effective. We have complex formula and secret rituals. The ego love complexity, but the truth of God is almost always very simple. Receive the body of Christ, then consciously offer your entire day back to him. This simple act, done with great faith, has the power to rewire your entire spiritual reality. The world tells you to build a legacy on earth, wealth, fame, monument, things that will crumble into dust. This is the great distraction from your one true and eternal project. Your only true legacy is the luminous map of love you create within your soul. This is the only thing you will carry with you into eternity. It is your true identity, your eternal âme. Do not believe that this is a journey you must complete before you find peace. The peace is not at the end of the road. The peace is found in the very act of paving the road itself. The joy is in the painting. The purpose is in the laying of each stone. Carlo's secret is this: your highway to heaven is not the destination, it is the sacred and joyful journey. So let us begin your practical training, your sacred art. The first step is to transform how you approach Mass. Do not just attend, prepare your heart to be a divine canvas for God's holy light. Before you even leave your home, find a quiet moment. Close your eyes and state your intention for this communion. Lord, today I come to receive the ink of light to paint me path back to you. As you enter the church, see it not as a building, but as the artist's studio. The altar is the worktable where the divine colors are mixed. You are here to receive your palette for the day. During the readings and the homily, listen for one word or phrase that speaks to your soul. This will be the theme of your day's painting, the primary color God is giving you for your carva. At the consecration, when the host is elevated, do not just see bread. See the sun of your soul, the source of all light. Acknowledge that you are about to receive the very power of creation. As you walk to receive communion, let this be a pilgrimage. Each step is a conscious choice to move toward the light, leaving the shadows of fear and doubt behind you with every single footfall. In the moment you receive the host, understand this is the initiation. This is the divine spark being placed directly into the engine of your soul, a moment of infinite potential and pure grâce. Return to your pew. This is the most crucial moment of the entire plan. Do not let your mind wander. The next 60 seconds will set the trajectory for your entire day, your entire spiritual life. Kneel, close your eyes, and in the silence of your heart, make this simple dedication payée. Is these words are your own? Jésus, I receive you. You are now the light within me own soul. Then continue, I offer you this entire day, every thought, every word, every action, every breath. Let it all be one single pixel of light, placed with love upon me eternal map back to you. Finally say, use me eyes as your brush, use me heart as your canvas. Today let us paint a masterpiece of love together for the glory of the Father. Amen. This is your daily commission. That is the entire payé. It is simple, but its power is immense. You have just given God permission to transform every mundane moment of your day into a sacred creative act. Now you must live it. As you leave the church, the world will look deep. It is no longer a série of obstacles and core. It is your studio filled with opportunity to apply the light you have just received. Your morning commute is your first chance. Instead of frustration in traffic, offer each red light as a pixel of patience. See other drivers not as rival, but as fellow souls on their own path. At your workplace, your desk becomes our altar. Each task, no matter how to do, is our opportunity to add a pixel of diligence. Your work is no longer for a boss, but for the kingdom of God. When a difficult colleague approaches you, see this as a challenge from the master painter. Can you add a pixel of kindness where the world expects a smear of angers? This is advanced artistry. Every email you send, every phone call you make, can be infused with this intention. Is this communication adding light to the world, or is it adding to the noise and the darkness? Choose. But attention, this practice is not a magic pill that eliminates all struggle. It is not our instant path to feeling good. This is the deep, slow, and sometimes difficult work of the soul. You will fail, your art will sleep. You will paint with angers or frustration. Do not despair. This is where the true art begins, the art of correction, of repentance, and of starting anew. When you fail, immediately turn to God and say, Lord, I have smudged the canvas. With your mercy, let us transform this mistake into a new color, a new depth. This is the power of confession. Is your lunch break not just to refuel your body, but your soul? Take 5 minutes of silence. Look at a tree or the sky. Connect with Brother Sun and remember your place in creation. In your family life, the opportunities are endless. Washing the dish becomes a pixel of service. Listening to a child's story becomes a pixel of présence. These are the brightest colors. When you feel tired and have nothing left to give, offer your exhaustion itself. Lord, I offer you me weariness. Let it be a pixel of surrender, a testament to me trust in your strength. This reframes suffering. It is no longer a meaningless burden. It is the dark paint that gives contrast and depth to your masterpiece, making the highlights of joy shine even more brightly. Before you speak, practice a holy pause. Ask your soul, will these words paint with light? This simple bee can pove countless smudge of gossip, criticism, and negativity on your map. Learn to see Christ in the face of the poor and the marginalized. Every act of charity, no matter how small, is like using pure gold leaf on your carva. It is a direct application of divine light. Do not neglect the rosary. Think of each bead as a small pour of color, a memory from the life of Christ and his mother. You are drawing from their palette to enrich your own sacred work. When you pray the rosary, you are walking through the gallery of salvation history. You are learning from the technique of the Master and his most perfect apprentice, Mary. This is your school. End your day with a simple examination of your carva. Take 2 minutes before sleep. Look back on your day not with jugement, but with our artist's eye. See what you have created together. Ask yourself, where did he add light today? Where did he smudge the carva? This is not for scolding yourself, but for learning. Tomorrow, he will try to be more careful with that color. Then offer the entire day's work to God. Lord, this is what we made today. It is imperfect, but it was made with love. He placed it in your arm. Then rest in his peace, ready for more. This is the daily rhythm of the soul's artiste. Receive the light, enter to paint, apply the light in small strokes, examine the work, offer it, rest, and begin again the next day. Your life becomes a gallery of these daily carvas. Each day is a new work. Together, they form the lumineux landscape of your soul, the great Mihal of your journey back to the Father's ooze. You are not aiming for one perfect painting. You are committing to the daily process of showing up at the carva. Your faithfulness is more important than your technical perfection in this work. This practice cultivates a constant state of dialogue with God. He is no longer a distant observer. He is your partner in the studio, over you, guiding the brush in every moment. The anxiety about the future begins to fade. You are too focused on the beauty of the purse stroke, or adding this one pixel of light, right here and now, to worry about the finished wall. The fear of jugement is replaced by the eagerness of an artiste ready to pose their work. You are not afraid of the critique, because you know the juge was your co-creator and loving guide. Do not be discouraged if you feel nothing at first. Feelings are inhalable. The act of intention is what matters. The light is being added to your map, whether you feel it emotionally or not. This is our act of pure faith. You trust that every small, dedicated action is building your eternal âme, weaving your lumineux tapestry, even when your eyes cannot see the final pattern. Start small. Do not try to make every single moment perfect from day one. Choose one part of your day, your morning coffee, your commute, and focus on making that a conscious act of painting. As you grow in this practice, you can expand your focus. Soon, your entire day will feel like a seamless flow of creative partnership with the divine, a continu and joyful act of worship. This is how Carlo Acutis lived. He saw his computer, his schoolwork, his friendships, all as deep briche and color. His unifying vision came from his daily dedication after communion. He was not a grim ascetic. He was a joyful artiste, in love with his work and with his divine partner. His life was a vibrant carva, not a grey and fearful test. This is your invitation. You are being invited to become a saint of the ordinary, a master artiste whose studio is the world and whose medium is love, applied with intention in every small daily action of your life. This plan does not add heavy burden to your life. It transforms the burden you already carry into the very tools of your salvation. It makes your current reality the seat of your masterpiece. Remember the paix. Your plan must include seeking out what you reject. Is it a person you dislike, a task you hate? Find a way to offer one small act of love there. That is a masterstroke. Remember the wolf. What is your gibio, your greatest fear, your most persist sin? Do not run from it. Meet it with the light of Christ. offre à payer for its transformation every day. Hamambe, brother, son, go outside, connect with creation. Let the beauty of nature remind you of the beauty of the Creator. Let it inspire your own creative work and your own spiritual vision. This is the path of perfect joy, not a life free from trouble, but a life so filled with purpose and connexion to God that trouble loses its power to create despair in your life. Your soul was born to create. This fear of death, this anxiety, come from our unused creativity. A soul that knows it was made to paint a masterpiece but has been idly doodling in the margin. So pick up your brush. The archiste is waiting. The carver of your day is blank and ready. Your divine partner is eager to begin. There is a beautiful and luminous map to be made. This is not just for you. Every pixel of light you add to your own map sends out a ripple. It illuminates the path for those around you. Your becomes a beacon for other wandering souls. Your family, your co-workers, they may not know why, but they will feel the warmth of your light. They will be drawn to the peace that emanates from a soul that is living its true purpose. This is how the world is changed. Not big programs, but be individual soul choosing to become artistes of the divine, painting their small corner of the world with the light of Christ. Do not wait until you are worthy. The act of painting is what makes you worthy. The desire to begin is all the qualification that you will ever need to start on this path of true joy. This plan is a return to the original mission of humanity. We were placed in a garden not to be idle, but to cultivate and care for it. Your life is your garden. Make it beautiful. The saints are those who took this commission seriously. They became master gardeners of their own soul, cultivating virtue and weeding outside, creating a paradise within. You can too. Carlo is your model for this modern age. He shows that this RC path is not obsolete. It can be walked with a laptop in one arm and a rosary in the other. It is a timeless, eternal truth. So the action is simple. 1. Prépare for masse. 2. Receive the Euchariste. 3. Make the dédication. 4. See every moment as a chance to paint with love. 5. Examine your work with mercy at night. This is the daily practice Carlo used to calibrate his vision. It is how he ensured his death was not a leap into the dark, but a joyful final step into a homme he already knew by heart. You have been given the secret. You have been given the plan. The only question that remains is whether you will accept the invitation to become the artiste you were always meant to be. Do not let this be just another video you watch. Let this be the moment your soul awakens to its true calling, the moment you trade your anxiety for a paintbrush and a divine purpose. This is not about becoming a great seer overnight. It is about the simple, humble choice to add one pixel of light, today, right now, in your very next action. That is all it takes. The journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. The creation of a masterpiece begins with a single brushstroke. Your highway to heaven begins with this one simple choice. This is the practical, actionable love of God. He does not just give us a destination. He gives us the vehicle, the Euchariste, and the road map which we draw ourselves through our own lives. He gives us the dignity of being co-creators with Him. He respects our freedom so much that He allows us to design the very heaven we will inhabit. This is a staggering and beautiful gift. So take this gift seriously, take it joyfully. Your life is not a problem to be solved, but a masterpiece waiting to be painted. And the time to begin your great and holy work is now. This is the way to disarm the fear of death forever. Be falling so in love with the process of creating your eternal homme that you can't wait to finally see it in its full and glorious light. You will not see a void. You will see your own love reflected back at you in the infinite light of God. You will see the beautiful map you and your Father have painted together. This is the promise. This is the path. This is the secret of Carlo Acutis now placed in your arm. I care to unlock a life of pure pause, peace, and fearless creativity in God. Let your very next thought be your first conçu brushstroke. Let it be a thought of gratitude for this révélation, a pixel of thanksgiving offered to the master of all artistes. So I leave you with a challenge for the next 24 heures, a single act of sacred art to begin your journée, a test of your new intention to paint the world with the true light of Christ. Choose one person you find difficult, one soul who tests your patience. In secret, offer one small, seal payer for their true happiness. This will be your first conçu brushstroke. Do not expect a reward or a change in them. This act is for your map alone. It is a powerful pixel of mercy, a color that sheen with the brilliance of heaven in the eyes of God. This small act of Eden love is the very essence of Carlo Sacre. It is ordinary holiness in action, transforming the world one pixel at a time, starting with your own sacred soul. Did this message touch your heart today? Did you feel a stirring of awe, a release from the cold cape of fear? Let this feeling be a sign that your soul is ready to begin its work. I want to create a community of these soul artistes right here. So please, tell me in the comments, from which city in the world are you watching this message? Let us see your light. Reading your location connects us. It reminds us that we are not painting alone in the dark, but are part of a great, global workshop, all creating beauty for God, our loving Father. Your command build a tapestry of faith that stretches across the entire globe. Each city named is a point of light, a testament to the universal enjeu for this divine and holy truth. Now I ask you to perform one final act of creation, an act of love that extends beyond yourself, a way to be an instrument of peace, just as Saint Francis of Assisi taught all of us. Think of one person in your life who is wrestling with fear, anxiety, or the dread of the unknown. Someone whose soul feels lost in the shadows. You know exactly who this person may be. Send this video to them. This is not about getting more view. It is about you consciously choosing to be a lamp for their path, a messenger of the op that you have just received. Your act of sharing becomes a payer in motion. It is a pixel of evangelisation on your own map, a testament that you did not just keep this comforting révélation locked in your heart. Be the one who share the light. Be the friend who offers not a platitude, but a new way of seeing. You could be the catalyst for the creation of another beautiful and luminous map. Every share is a brushstroke of charity. It is a digital act of mercy, using the very tools Carlo Acutis sanctified to spread the gospel and bring true comfort to a suffering world. Our journée together does not end here. This was only the first révélation. There are many more secrets of the Saint that can unlock the peace your soul so desperately crave in life. To ensure you do not miss the next step on this path, subscribe to this channel and activate the notification bell. Let us continue to walk this luminous road to God's side by side. The next révélation will address the dark wolf of despair. We will uncover the secret of the Saint for finding unshakable joy even in the midst of profound and heartbreaking sorrow. Remember, the peace you seek is not in a distant future or a faraway place. It is found in the very next brushstroke of love you choose to make. It is closer than you can imagine. May the blessing of the young Saint Carlo Acutis, the joyful artiste of God, be with you now. May he inspire your eye and your heart as you begin to create your own masterpiece. Go now and live as the artiste you were created to be. Transform your fear into beauty. Transform your life into a highway of light. Go in peace. You are not alone on this journey.